Do you want to know how to get better at public speaking? If yes, then you're at the right place. Most of the people on earth have a fear of public speaking. Isn't public speaking just nerve-wracking? What if you go on stage and nobody laughs at your joke? Or maybe you stutter in between? Or maybe you make a fool of yourself on stage? In moments of pressure, many questions pop up in your mind, and these questions cloud your thinking. Because of this, not many people are able to give great presentations or great speeches. Many people prepare their speeches or their presentations for months, and they're still not able to give a proper speech. It's not because they weren't well prepared, but it's because they were nervous. They didn't deal with their nerves when they had to. In today's world, public speaking is a sought after skill. It is a skill that everybody wants, but nobody has. I, by no means, am a master of public speaking, but I have gone from being a shy boy to being able to express my views in a room full of people. And here's how I did it. Point number one is to change your mindset. Now, one thing I always hear people saying is that as you turn better at public speaking, you start feeling less and less nervous and more confident. This is true, but only partially. Most of the experienced speakers, before coming on stage, they still do feel nervous. Every speaker feels nervous before coming on stage. But what differentiates the experienced speakers from the new speakers is that the experienced speakers know how to deal with their nerves and how to work in these pressurized situations. They have learned to become confident in their own abilities, and that's what separates them from other speakers. If you think about it, there's nothing to be nervous about when you're speaking. Public speaking is basically a conversation. You have conversations in your day-to-day life, but the only difference in public speaking is that it's a conversation between you and a group of people. Public speaking isn't supposed to be hard, but our brains tell us that it is. In the end, it's just a conversation, so treat it like a conversation. Point number two is to seize opportunities. When I started out public speaking, I was a very shy boy. And because I was shy, I never took upon opportunities for class presentations, or maybe taking the leadership role in a group, or maybe enrolling myself in a couple of competitions. I never did that. But when I decided that I needed to get better at this, I started doing such things. And then I noticed just how many of those opportunities actually are there in life. Whether you're in school or work or an internship or wherever you are, there's always an opportunity for you to speak in front of a group of people or take on a leadership position. You may not know it right now because you've never actively seeked out these opportunities. But when you do, trust me, there's a lot of opportunities out there. And once you start taking these opportunities, you start noticing a clear difference in the way you start talking to people, the way you start interacting with a group of people, and your leadership experience and your overall confidence in being able to do so. We humans are social animals, so we need to be able to interact with a group of people or even one person. And public speaking and leadership is the best way to do so. If you want to inspire people, public speaking is one of the best ways to do so. Point number three is to practice consistently. Maybe you have a speech coming up or you have a presentation coming up, and you can't afford to make up the speech and make up the whole presentation and practice it only for one day. Try making the speech 2 weeks before and practice it every single day. When you practice it every single day, even for 5 or 10 minutes, if you do this consistently, you start noticing differences in the way you speak and the way you interact with people. Then when you actually go on the stage and give your speech, you find yourself to be much more confident in your own abilities because you've prepared well for your speech. One thing you should keep in mind while you're practicing is that you should always record yourself while you're practicing. What I did when I started was that I took a phone and I recorded every time I gave a speech. Now, you may sound great in your head and you think you're doing awesome inside your head, but once you see the recording, you know just how bad you are. And this has happened to me many times, it still happens to me, and it will probably happen to you many times. But seeing your own recording on a phone, you get to know what all you're bad at, what all you have to improve in, and what all you're already good at. So one of the main things that I found useful was recording myself, and I think everybody who wants to increase their public speaking and leadership skills should be doing this. Point number four is to take feedback. Whenever you give your speech, make sure to ask people what you need to improve on. I'm going to be completely honest with you, this is my least favorite thing to do, because just after I've given a speech and I feel like I've done great and I go to ask someone how I did, and they point out a mistake, it doesn't feel that great. But I've noticed that asking other people how you need to improve has really helped me over time, because then seeing it from a third person perspective tells you exactly what areas you need to improve upon and exactly how you need to improve on those areas. So even though it may not feel great, or it may not be the best thing in the world to do, trust me, ask other people what to improve upon, because it helps you a lot. Most of the greatest leaders in the world today are great public speakers, but believe it or not, they started out at the same level as you and me. Many of you may not know it, but hidden inside you is a potential to inspire people. And many times, you only require a small moment of courage to unlock that potential. Mastering public speaking takes time and practice, but if you're consistent with it, you'll get there.